The family had gathered at the Hayes home under the guise of a routine garden party.
This is just a small clarification the trustees felt was overdue, Nicole. No need to make a fuss.
Nicole unfolded the paper. Charlotte's name had been struck through in bold type beneath the word beneficiaries.
Clarification? You've removed our daughter and replaced her with the cousins. That is not a clarification.
Nicole, let's not ruin the afternoon. We can discuss this later.
On the carpet, little Charlotte hugged her stuffed rabbit, oblivious to the legal blade that had just fallen on her future.
No, Robert. I will not sit here and pretend this didn't happen. She is your daughter.
Eleanor and Philip exchanged a look across the room that said the matter was already settled.
They planned this the whole time, and Robert is too weak to stand up to them.
That night, alone at her desk, Nicole pulled the original trust from the safe and began to read every clause, searching for any loophole, any mistake. The next morning, the silence in the kitchen was heavier than the fight the night before.
You had all night to think, Robert. Are you still going along with your mother's rewrite of our daughter's life?
They said it was a mistake, Nicole. That Charlotte was added by accident when the trust was drafted. They're just correcting the record.
And you believed that? A 7-year-old child is a mistake?
They're my parents. I have to believe they know what's right for the family.
He's choosing them over us. Over our daughter.
Nicole drew the original trust from her bag and laid it on the counter, next to the amendment. Her finger found the signatures.
Then look at this. The original trust lists her name from the start, signed and notarized. It wasn't a mistake.
What are you hoping to find? That my parents are criminals?
I have to prove this amendment is invalid, with or without him.
She spent hours tracing every clause of the original trust until she found the section governing amendments. The trust stated plainly, any amendment must be executed with the signature of all co-trustees and proper notarization.
Only one trustee signed this amendment. The co-trustee's signature line is blank.
The notary's stamp looked official, but she couldn't verify its validity from her kitchen table. She needed someone with authority. There was only one name that had overseen the trust since its creation, Joseph Kellerman.
Joseph, it's Nicole Hayes. I need your help. Something's been done to the trust, and I think it's not legal.
Nicole, slow down. I'm aware of a recent amendment circulated by Eleanor and Philip. I haven't reviewed it formally.
They erased Charlotte, Joseph, replaced her with the cousins, and the amendment doesn't have the required signatures. Please, as the trust's attorney, will you review it?
As a fiduciary, I'm obligated to examine any amendment. Send it to my office. But Nicole, you understand I must remain impartial.
Impartial. That's all I can ask for. But he's also her godfather. God, let that mean something.
Nicole sat across from Joseph in his book-lined office, the folder resting unopened on the mahogany desk between them.
Nicole, please. Your voice on the phone was shaking. Tell me exactly what happened.
She slid the amendment across the desk, her hand trembling as she pointed to the crossed-out name.
They erased Charlotte, Joseph. No co-trustee signed it. And the notary, I don't believe it's valid.
I understand your anger. As her godfather, I'm shaken. But as the fiduciary, I must remain clinical.
Then be clinical. Look at the signatures. Look at the dates. You'll see it's wrong.
I'll examine every line. If there's a procedural error, I'll find it. You have my word.
She walked out of the office, every step heavier than the last, and the door sealed her out. Joseph opened the amendment under the green lamp and reached for his magnifying glass. The review had begun.
He'll find the truth. He has to. Charlotte's future is in that folder.
2 days with no word from Joseph. Nicole had just put Charlotte to bed when the doorbell rang at 8:30. It was Eleanor, Pastel, and Pearls stepping inside without waiting for an invitation.
Nicole, we need to talk. Alone.
If you're here to threaten me again, Eleanor, you can say it and go.
If you continue this nonsense, Robert's position at the company becomes unstable. And Charlotte's place in this family? Erased?
You can't bully me into handing over my daughter's future. Whatever you try, I won't back down.
Eleanor's smile didn't falter as she turned and walked out, the click of her heels a cold punctuation. Through the window, Nicole watched the taillights of Eleanor's sedan fade down the long driveway.
They're not going to stop, but neither am I.
Alone in the foyer, she pressed her fist to the doorframe and felt the splintering weight of the war she had just accepted. The front door opened at 11:30, and Robert's silhouette filled the hallway, his tie already loosened, his jaw set.
My mother called. Said you threw her out. Have you lost your mind?
She came to threaten us. She said your job and Charlotte's place in this family would be erased if I didn't drop this.
The argument moved through the house, settling finally in the bedroom where the air grew thick with accusations.
I've read the original trust, Robert. The amendment has no co-trustee signature. The date is suspect, and the notary stamp looks falsified. I've asked Joseph to review it formally as the trust's attorney.
You went to Joseph behind my back? He's the family's attorney. You've just declared war on my parents and dragged him into it.
I went to the only person who could tell the truth, because you wouldn't. Someone had to protect our daughter.
Joseph will side with my parents. They'll make sure of it, and you'll have nothing.
He turned, grabbed a duffel from the closet, and started throwing clothes inside without another word, the sound of zippers louder than any goodbye.
Let him go. I'll protect her alone if I have to.
The next afternoon, Nicole took Charlotte to the park, needing a few hours away from the silent, devastated house. Charlotte asked to go higher on the swing, her small voice breaking through Nicole's heaviness.
This is why I'm fighting, for her to stay innocent of this poison.
Across town, Philip Hayes pushed through the glass doors of Kellerman and Associates, his smile ready but his eyes sharp.
Joseph, I wanted to touch base about the trust amendment. My mother and I are eager for a quick, quiet resolution.
The review is proceeding. I'm aware of the family's wishes, but my fiduciary duty requires a thorough examination.
Of course, but loyalty to my parents' intentions should count for something. After all, who do you answer to, Joseph?
I answer to the law, Philip. That's what I told Harold when he first appointed me, and that's what I'll tell you now.
Back at the park, Nicole watched the sun catch Charlotte's hair and felt the fragile thread of hope tighten.
Joseph will make the right call. He has to.
In the quiet of his office, long after the last clerk had gone, Joseph Kellerman finally saw the cracks.
The notary's commission expired 6 months before this document was stamped. It's a dead seal.
He cross-referenced the trust's amendment clause with the document in front of him. The co-trustee line was empty.
No co-trustee's signature, backdated to seem timely, and stamped by a notary without authority. This isn't an amendment. It's a forgery.
As the senior fiduciary, he had no choice but to reject the document as void. The family had executed a legal nullity.
Nicole, it's Joseph. Can you come to my office tomorrow morning? First thing.
Did you find something? Joseph, please, just tell me if she's safe.
Not over the phone, but I promise you I've found what we need.
Tomorrow morning? Everything changes tomorrow morning.
The family will tear itself apart when I rule. But my duty is clear. Charlotte's father may fail her. Her godfather will not.
Dawn bled through the blinds as Nicole stepped into Kellerman's office. The folder was already open on his desk.
Sit down. I'll be direct. The amendment is void. No co-trustee's signature, backdated, and the notary's seal was dead on arrival.
Then Charlotte is still a beneficiary. She was never truly removed.
That document was a legal nullity. As fiduciary, I'm rejecting it. Charlotte's place in the trust stands.
I could kiss you, Joseph, but I know this is just the beginning. Eleanor and Philip will fight with everything they have.
They can fight, but the law is not a negotiation. I'll send formal notice today. They'll hear from me, not you.
They'll come for me anyway, but it doesn't matter. You've given me the truth. He's not just the lawyer. He's her godfather, and he just saved her.
She walked out of that office a different woman, holding the secret that would shatter the Hayes family peace.
When the letter goes out, they'll burn bridges. But I've been the keeper of this trust for 30 years. I will not let them desecrate it.
The letter from Kellerman and Associates arrived by courier at 4 o'clock, and Eleanor intercepted it before the seal was dry. The letter read, "As fiduciary, I declare the purported amendment void. It lacks a required co-trustee signature, was backdated, and bears a notary seal from an expired commission."
This is preposterous. Joseph has overstepped his authority. He was always too fond of that child.
We'll appeal to father directly. Harold will see this as the betrayal it is. Joseph won't survive the fallout.
It's real. The truth is out, and it cannot be clawed back. Charlotte is still whole.
Wait. This is my mother's signature, not the co-trustees. What have they done?
The room erupted. Philip slammed a hand against the table. Eleanor's voice pitched into a cold screech.
I didn't create this mess. You did. Now the law has spoken.
The law? You dragged our godfather into this? You've turned this family into a courtroom. We will undo this, Nicole. Mark my words.
Undo what? The truth is already written. Now it's just a question of who burns while reading it.
Within the hour, Eleanor demanded a formal family meeting. Joseph was summoned, his hands steady as he laid out the original trust and the amendment for all to see.
This is a personal vendetta against us, Joseph. You've let that woman manipulate you into tearing this family apart.
Manipulation isn't the issue. The amendment lacks a co-trustee signature, was backdated, and the notary stamp is invalid. I followed the law.
Robert took the documents and examined them himself for the first time, his fingers tracing the empty signature line like a man waking from a long sleep.
Mother, the co-trustee is supposed to be father. He didn't sign this. Why?
Your father was incapacitated. Philip and I were acting as trustees. It was a practical oversight.
An oversight that just happened to erase our daughter and favor your other grandchildren. Convenient.
An oversight does not explain the lapsed notary commission. That seal is a dead letter. The amendment is void.
Eleanor snatched her bag, Philip at her heels, and turned at the door with a threat that iced the room.
This isn't over, Joseph. I'll take this directly to Harold. He will see reason.
In a back study, Eleanor and Philip spoke in clipped, hurried tones, their words sharpened by panic.
We tell Harold that Nicole fabricated a crisis, manipulated Joseph, and dragged the family into a legal circus for her own obsession.
Exactly. We go tomorrow morning, first thing. He'll side with family over that woman. She's an outsider.
Nicole, passing the hall, halted inches from the cracked door and heard every lie they were preparing to feed the patriarch.
They're going to poison Harold's mind first. I have to get to him before they do.
She found Robert in the living room, the voided amendment still clutched in his hand, his face a battlefield of doubt.
I'm going to see your father tonight. Are you coming with me, or are you still their son first?
I saw the forgery, Nicole. But they're still my parents. I don't know if I can stand against them.
He's wavering, but he's seen the truth. That may be enough.
She turned for the door, her phone already dialing Joseph for Harold's address. Time was thinner than ever. At the Hayes mansion, a servant relayed the fractured family state to Harold's private study. The old man's eyes sharpened with alarm.
Joseph Kellerman. Get him here now. I want the unvarnished truth.
Joseph arrived within the hour, the voided amendment and the original trust in his briefcase.
What happened to my trust, Joseph? I hear only lies and shouting through these walls.
Your instructions were distorted. The amendment lacked a co-trustee signature, was backdated, and the notary's commission had lapsed. Legally, it never existed. Charlotte was never removed.
Harold's hand trembled, not from age, but from the realization that his own family had tried to steal from a 7-year-old.
Then she was meant to be a beneficiary from the start. They tried to erase my granddaughter after I made my intent clear.
Joseph placed the original trust on the desk. Charlotte's name sat untarnished beneath beneficiaries, exactly as Harold had ordered.
Bring Nicole to me tonight, before anyone else gets here. I'll hear the mother before the schemers.
She's already on her way. She called me for your address an hour ago, Harold. She wouldn't wait.
Nicole's car pulled up the long drive of Harold's estate. Robert sat in the passenger seat, silent and pale, his hand finally reaching for hers.
Harold, before anyone else gets to you, I need you to see this. The amendment that tried to erase Charlotte It's a forgery.
She laid the voided amendment and the original trust on his lap. He studied them in the dim light, his breathing the only sound.
My son's wife tried to cut out my granddaughter with a dead notary seal. They meant to disinherit a child. You were right to fight, Nicole. I gave my word that all grandchildren would share equally. That word still stands.
Thank you. I've been fighting alone, and I was starting to break.
Dad, I should have stood with her from the start. I was weak. I'm sorry.
Robert knelt by Nicole's chair and took her hand again, this time with the weight of a man choosing his family.
He's finally here. With us.
I'll handle Eleanor and Philip tomorrow. We fix this for good.
The next morning, Eleanor and Philip arrived expecting a sympathetic ear. Instead, Harold waited with the voided amendment in his lap.
You thought I was too old to notice my own trust being gutted? I've seen the forgery, the dead seal, the missing signature.
It was an administrative correction. We never intended to hurt Charlotte. We were only following what we thought you wanted.
I wanted all grandchildren included. You disinherited a 7-year-old and put a lapsed notary stamp on it. That is not correction. My decision is made. Charlotte Hayes is a beneficiary, and I will not allow any appeal. I am reinstating her with a no contest clause.
You can't do that. The trust.
I am the grantor. I can and I will. Now get out. Consider your standing in this family severely diminished.
They turned to leave, Eleanor clutching her handbag as if it could shield her, Philip's face a mask of barely contained fury. Harold watched them go, then turned to the photograph of Charlotte on his desk, the granddaughter he had almost lost through betrayal. The phone call to Joseph was brief. "Prepare the papers. We do it today." The patriarch had spoken. Within the hour, Joseph arrived with a crisp new codicil, the ink still fresh. Nicole and Robert stood behind Harold's wheelchair.
This codicil restores Charlotte Hayes as a beneficiary with full no contest protection. Any challenge triggers loss of share, let it be done.
He signed with a steady hand, the nib scratching against the paper, a sound heavier than any shouted word. Joseph stepped forward, pressed his own notary seal into the red wax, and added his signature with practiced precision. Nicole and Robert were called forward to witness. Their signatures joined the page, side by side, a marriage mended in ink.
This single page doesn't just restore her. It shields her from ever being weaponized again.
Joseph handed Nicole the original codicil, folded inside a leather binder. She held it like a newborn.
It's over. She's safe. Thank you.
Robert wrapped an arm around her shoulder, and Harold, watching them, gave a single approving nod. The legal battle was sealed.
The codicil is ironclad. Her godfather not only watched over her, he sealed the lock.
Harold wasted no time. Before sunset, a second letter left his desk, stripping them of advisory roles and imposing a penalty. The letter read, "Your conduct breached the trust's standards. You are removed as advisors and your shares are reduced by 1/3 as restitution."
He didn't even give us a chance to apologize. It's finished.
In her garden, Eleanor sank onto the stone bench, the letter limp in her hand, staring at the blooms she would no longer tend with pride.
This is retaliation, not justice. I'll challenge every clause.
But the phone calls to every third-party lawyer met polite refusal. Joseph's codicil had left no crack to exploit. In his office, Philip yanked off his tie and hurled a crystal decanter against the wall, the shards catching the last light. Harold watched the sun set from his study, the signed administrative orders on his desk beside the photograph of Charlotte.
I built this trust to protect children, not feed vultures. They forgot that. Now they remember.
The family's landscape had been redrawn by ink and principle, and the schemers were relegated to the cold margins of consequence. That evening, the house was quiet except for the creak of the sofa as Robert sat across from Nicole.
I let them poison me against you. I looked at that forged document and chose to believe it because fighting was too hard.
You almost lost us. Not just the trust us. And I was terrified that at the end, I'd have to choose Charlotte over you.
I know. And you would have been right. I don't deserve you, but I'm asking you to let me try again.
He's terrified. For the first time, I see him without his parents' armor.
She reached across and took his hands, the same hands that had signed the codicil with hers.
We rebuild. But no more secrets, Robert. No more choosing his blood over our daughter.
No more. She comes first. You come first. I swear it.
He pulled her into an embrace that wasn't desperate, but foundational. The wedding photo on the mantel seemed to glow.
We're not whole yet, but we're not broken anymore.
The next morning, Nicole sat on the edge of Charlotte's bed, the codicil folder open on the nightstand, its red seal catching the sun.
Grandpa Harold made sure you're safe, sweetheart. Nobody can ever take away what belongs to you.
Does that mean Bun Bun is safe too?
Charlotte hugged her stuffed rabbit tighter, and Nicole laughed, a sound that had been missing for weeks, carrying all the weight she'd finally set down. By noon, the doorbell rang. Joseph stood with a small gift bag, his tie loosened and his smile unguarded.
I'm not here as a lawyer today, just a godfather with a late birthday present.
Charlotte's small voice rang out from the hallway.
Uncle Joseph.
Over Charlotte's head, Nicole met Joseph's gaze. No words were needed. The gratitude was absolute, a silent exchange between two protectors.
He kept the vow, not just the legal duty, the promise he made when he held her as a baby and swore she'd never be alone.
That Sunday, the dining table at the Hayes home held only 5 chairs. Eleanor and Philip were conspicuously absent.
I drew Grandpa Harold and me and Bun Bun in the garden. You're smiling.
Then I shall frame it, child. It's worth more than all the trust documents in the world.
To Charlotte. And to Nicole, who never stopped fighting.
And to Joseph, our family's loyal guardian.
On the sideboard, the codicil lay in its leather binder, a silent testament to a battle that ended where it began, with family.
This is what we almost lost. Not money, this.
The conversation flowed without the weight of unfinished family business, voices overlapping in easy harmony. Harold's laughter filled the room, and Nicole realized the legacy he wanted was never about ledgers. It was about this. The drawing Charlotte had made a stick-figure family under a yellow sun was now pinned to the refrigerator, the true trust made visible. Later, in his office, Joseph set down his glasses and picked up the framed photo of Charlotte.
12 years ago, they called me Godfather. Tonight, that promise felt whole.
He placed it beside the codicil copy, 2 pieces of paper that had saved a child. At home, Nicole held the leather binder one last time, the red seal catching the lamplight. She pressed her thumb to the seal, then laid it inside the safe and closed the heavy door. She closed the safe and exhaled the war.
It was a godfather who remembered a promise, not just a lawyer.
In his office, Joseph saw a message, a photo of Charlotte sleeping, Bun Bun tucked close.
I protected my goddaughter. The law was just the tool.
He set the phone down, glanced at the photo and let a quiet smile settle on his face. The next morning, sunlight spilled across the garden where Charlotte ran with Bun Bun tucked under her arm.
This is what I fought for. Not a trust fund. This.
She could hear Charlotte's laughter through the glass, a sound that had nearly been stolen. Behind her on the kitchen table, the red-sealed codicil sat in its leather binder, a quiet testimonial. And on the refrigerator, the stick-figure family still hung beneath a yellow sun, the true trust made visible. The fear of losing everything had carved deep grooves, but the morning light softened them. Nicole let herself smile without reservation, her daughter's joy a reflection of the war they had finally won. Outside, the world was ordinary again. The house stood under a blue sky, no longer a fortress. The battle was over. The godfather had kept his vow. The mother had won. And Charlotte Hayes, once erased, now stood inked into the family story where no one could undo her.